Okay, the next topic during operation is a really funny quote from a guy that I know, I won't mention his name, but he gave a speech once before we went on a group ride. And basically the speech had the phrase, "Never ride above your abilities." You can imagine how that went. You can tell, I kind of get tickled when I think about it, because you can imagine who had the problem on that particular ride about riding above your abilities. We all do it. What's important is that you have a plan B and stay safe, especially when you're pushing yourself. If you're going up areas where you're not really used to off-camber situations or rocks or things like that, there's a lot of stuff that you can do to make sure that that's safe and that you have a good trip. Definitely you don't want a total machine. And I won't say that that's not possible. This is my second full-size RZR. I've had tons of ATVs, motorcycles, and luckily I've never totaled anything, but I think a lot of that has to do with just being careful. There's being really crazy, and then there's having fun. So you kind of got to pick the line there. But that always brings me back to the comment, never ride above your abilities. And I'm not saying go out there and not have fun. I'm saying, like, if you're going to go up a steep area, I'm going to show you some techniques here in a little bit that you can make that a whole lot safer, and hopefully save yourself some money, maybe some injury, and definitely a trip. There's nothing worse than going on a trip and damaging a machine or yourself to the point where you can't continue the trip. You see a lot of folks that they get on hillsides, dangerous terrain, and basically they're just hoping that nothing happens. And sometimes that's the only option, but a lot of times it's not. A lot of times you can have spotters, get out and assist you. I went on a number of group rides where, we had spotters and they just didn't get out of the RZR. And that's the safest way to do it, is actually have somebody get out and be your third eyes. Probably a little bit more use of the winch. I love there's tons of YouTube folks out there that are posting their trips every time that they go, and you can kind of see the progression. The first time that they go, they're kind of like, wide open, breaking axles. Sometimes they make it, sometimes not. And then later on in their videos, they kind of, take a little bit different approach and maybe get a spotter out and, make the right decision to winch if it's going to, damage the equipment or be really risky. And that's a good thing. And basically what the goal of this video is to kind of give you a head start. If you've never driven a UTV or just bought one, hopefully this information will kind of help you not make the mistakes that we've made. Okay, I'm going to go over the first probably technique thing that I ever learned and just kind of give you a background. I've been doing technical rescue for over 10 years. I've been the chief of a department for many of those years. Certified rope rescue technician. I've taken every ATV wilderness class that I can possibly take, and these are experts, across the country. And one thing that I've really learned from that is just a couple of things that when I first saw them, it didn't make any sense, especially coming from three-wheelers and four-wheelers when I was 10 years old, and just general driving in general. And one of the key things is getting over obstacles. Most people, if you set them in a machine or brand new, if they come up to a very large log or something that's maybe half the size or the whole size of the tire, they will have the inclination to want to hit that at an angle. That is probably one of the most dangerous things you can do, is actually hit it at an angle. The proper way to do it, and it does take a little bit of practice, is you actually want to hit things, you want to hit it dead on. And you want to basically get your front tires over it. And if it's going to impact the bottom of the RZR, what you actually want to do is basically, if you have a log here, okay, and your RZR comes up to that log and you get those two front tires level with it. One, you got 4 points of contact. You're not catty cornered and going to have the possibility of rolling over. The worst thing that can happen to you is you may get high centered. And there's a little bit of risk as you come back down, especially if it's really slick or really bad obstacle, that you may slide. But that is an application of brakes issue, and you're going to want to, if you haven't already learned on the RZR or off-roading in general, jamming on the brakes when you're sliding is not a good idea. So what you want to do is you want to run up to the obstacle, put your two front tires on the obstacle. You can do this in one fluid motion, but the way that they teach it is you come up on the obstacle, and then you're really wanting to give it enough fuel to compress the lower suspension on the rear so that the rear end will kind of jut down just a bit, and it'll keep the front up, and you're actually kind of wanting to hop the thing over the obstacle. And as crazy as that sounds, if you look at a lot of rock videos where they're jumping rocks and this type of thing, or even just racing in general, that's one of the techniques that they're using to get over obstacles. It's way safer to do than trying to caddy corner something. Caddy cornering, you have just as much risk of high centering as doing it this method. The only difference is you're going to intentionally offset, your 4 points of contact. You're probably going to end up with 1 point of contact if you high center, and that's the bottom of the unit. So that's getting around obstacles or over obstacles, and it pretty much holds true for if you're trying to do rock ledges or things like that. You want to try to not hit things off camber if you can help it. And there's certain instances where lifting a tire is okay. If you got good traction and you have forward motion, it's okay. But something like a log or something like that's very large, you're going to hit it head on and try to hop over it versus trying to caddy corner around it. Okay, this is probably one of the most important things that I ever learned about ATVing. Most of y'all, have these straps. There's some that are bigger and some that are smaller. This is the size I like, 2 inch, and here's why. And that's a belay system. I don't recall ever seeing out on the trail, unless I'm the one doing it or somebody in the group that I'm with, even thinking about the fact that a winch cable could fail or an ATV looks too hard to stabilize. And there's a really cool trick. Basically, you're going to do some pretend here. I don't have a lot of big trees on the property that are not on a steep hill, so we're going to pretend that this roll bar here is a tree. But if you'll take this strap and wrap it around the tree 2 to 3 times. One, this will still move. See how that's still letting it move? I can completely stop the movement, and one person with one hand can totally support a RZR on the trail, even if it's almost vertical. You can keep it from going anywhere. This is basically your progress capture. So if you are going up a really steep hill, even though you're not being winched, but it's really slow going and there's a chance of you tipping over, rolling over, or sailing down the hill, hook one of these to the front, have a tender, and one thing that helps, this is all about angles. So I can just simply walk back around the tree just a bit, and that'll give me a little bit more slack. If something bad happens and I want to stop movement, you just bring this around the tree a little bit more and you'll get a little bit more friction. It works really well, especially this size. I would say this size or one smaller is ideal for RZR type vehicles. You may want to get, like, if you've got a Jeep or something, you may want to use a 3 inch. This works really well. You kind of have to do a little bit better job at tending this. That's kind of how it's going to look on the tree. And as you can see, it moves really easy as long as I'm not putting pressure. The second that you put pressure, this side, the load side, will actually pretty much stop. Another thing that I use this for is generally if I'm winching, and I think of it like this: if the winch line were to break, what would happen? If it would be bad things that would happen, I would make 2 attachments. I would have the winch attached, pulling, and I would have this and someone minding it, basically keeping up slack on this line to to capture my progress. Winch line breaks, this catches me, I'm still good. Another good thing about this is if you have this attached and you need to reconfigure your winch system, you can actually stop progress and hold your RZR exactly where it's at. Reset up your entire winch line and not have any issues. It works really well, and pretty much all it requires is a tow strap. Okay, on the subject of crossing obstacles, here I've made an approach up to this little obstacle, and you know, most people will try to hit these at angles thinking that they can get over them easier. We can probably make it up this without any issue. Now we're going to high center right here, and there's nothing we can do about it. The only thing that we can do to prevent high centering really is you know, kind of either lift the front or lift the back. We can't really do that because if we really romp on the gas here, you'll notice this RZR is really unstable. And it's because we've hit it at an angle. Like I said before, the best way to hit an obstacle is dead on. And if it's like this, this is way taller than what we can go over with that high center. You actually want to get the front tires up on the, you want to get them about right here. And basically what you're shooting to do is give it enough throttle to kind of hop over that. And that's really the only way you can get across it. We'll reposition the RZR. I just want to kind of give you an idea. This is unstable. This could tip over really easy. It's going to be really twitchy when you apply throttle versus hitting it straight and keeping all four tires on the ground if you can. Okay, here's our proper example. As you can see, the RZR is really stable. Obviously, there's a much longer wheelbase than width. And all four tires are on the ground. If you just ease up over this, it's not going to make it, obviously. You're going to contact probably about right here and stop. If you really had to get over this obstacle, what you want to do is pretty much just launch it from there. And what's going to happen is that rear end's going to squat down, the front end's going to pick up, and hopefully you'll have kind of enough momentum to where the front tires are actually going to touch the bank over there and crawl up them a little bit. Even if you do drag, if you have a little bit of forward momentum and can get the RZR to clear the obstacle and get the front tires to where they have some weight on them, you go right over the obstacle, and it's way safer to do. And that's how you get across tough obstacles. That's how you get stuck or flipped. Okay, I want to kind of show you how to operate the CVT. I'm in kind of a rough area. What you don't want to do is do this. Stay still. Hear my idle? I'm idled up and I'm not moving. That's wearing on your belt. What you want to do is get used to letting off the brake. Get it going. It should kind of lunge forward. It's not super violent, but it's definitely getting good clutch engagement. You want to keep your clutch primary and secondary moving. You don't want to be sitting with your secondary still and eating up your belt. Same holds true for reverse. Basically, the best way I can describe it is you just want to kind of tap the gas, you know, get good engagement. A lot of times I'll feather the gas. I'll basically blip it to keep that clutch engaged. What you don't want to do is be going forward and not be applying enough fuel to cause the clutch to start slipping on an incline. You want to have enough force on the clutch to keep it the whole time it's moving. Okay, in closing out this video, I just kind of want to go over some quick kind of, maybe not necessarily rules of the trail, but they're definitely considered, you know, politeness on the trail. One, if you're riding with a group, I'm not necessarily saying that you need to wait on people while you're riding, but definitely if you get to an intersection, especially if they don't know where they're at, you know, wait on them. And you don't want to get too far ahead in case you know, somebody has an accident or have a mechanical malfunction. Generally, a good rule of thumb is I kind of try to keep people in the rearview mirror, but definitely if I pull ahead or if I fall behind, I kind of expect someone to kind of still be hanging around at the next intersection. And as soon as I see them, I'll kind of wave. See their wave and continue on. A lot of times that's how people determine when to stop. That's kind of changed a little bit. If you don't have one, these are indispensable out on the trail. This is I've got a UHF VHF. I've got expert rated ham operator. Just having some kind of communication, even if it's just an FRS radio, let you talk car to car and let people know when you got to stop for bathroom breaks or to check something or something like that. So it's just considered nice, you know, as a group, kind of, you know, not necessarily keep a big bunch together, but definitely know where everybody's at and not get anybody lost or have them wait too long if they have a breakdown or an accident for somebody to get back to them. On really tight trails, a lot of the trails around here were originally designed for 50-inch machines. They've recently went in and actually widened those. But it's still tight, especially if it's two-way traffic. A lot of the trails around here are two-way traffic. You need to be mindful of that. The best thing that I know to describe if you encounter traffic is to develop the instinct to immediately cut to the right. Even if it's, you know, up the side of the bank that you're going to have to back down or whatever, it's always just a good practice to practice being out on. You see someone, you immediately yield to the right for any oncoming traffic. Now, once you get stopped or slowed down, and you know everybody gets their wits about them, you're staring at each other. You can decide who wants to go first, but that'll prevent you from having, or hopefully lessen the chances of you having a head-on collision with someone. Definitely don't cut to the left. Definitely don't stop in the middle of the trail. You know, use whatever momentum that you have to actually get all the way off the trail where they can get by. A couple things on hand signals. Really, the main one that I kind of expect people to give out is all stop. And that's basically just closed fist out to the side like this. So you'll see that if the camera is behind it, but this is what it looks like. And basically you want to relay that on back. So if you see it in front of you, you want to be doing the same thing. And what that does is just not only the brake lights, because you see brake lights all the time when you're running real fast. When you see that arm come out, you know that something's up ahead and you need to slow down. It's really helpful to kind of let your group know that you're slowing down. When you do come on to two-way traffic and they're coming by you, I've always made it a habit. It's kind of an unwritten rule. Let the people that's either yielding to you or you're yielding to them, let them know how many's in your group, how many more back they can expect. Especially if they stop for you, that way they know how to count how many vehicles go by before they proceed on. It just helps having to not make that right hand maneuver more than you have to. It's just a courteous thing. For all you guys out there that are posting videos from Windrock, I love the videos. I can't say enough about it. They get better and better. There's at least 10 that I'm subscribed to now. And I'm going to try to video anything that I do out on the trails. But it has been really useful for me finding my way around, especially the new places that we go. And most of us can't get out on the trails every day, so it's kind of nice to be able to get out in the woods vicariously through those folks. But anyway, kudos to you guys. You guys really stepped up the game, and I'm starting to see a lot more, especially on the East Coast trails, the mountain trails, and I really like it. Anyway, I hope this helps out some folks, and if you have any questions, just drop me a line. I'll be glad to answer, or if there's something you don't understand, just let me know. I apologize for not really being able to do a great demo on the belay. Once you see it, it starts making a lot more sense. It's just I don't have any trees here, and none of the trails are open around me right now to kind of demonstrate that. I'll dig through. I think I have some photos of us doing this on some of the trainings. Like I say, this is really common on any technical rescue operation to belay an ATV or UTV. Not only for safety, but just a lot of times the need to go around an obstacle is much more than just the trail. You may go down like a 10 or 12 foot embankment to get down to a roadbed, and it's worked wonders. It only takes 10-20 seconds for a guy to jump out, wrap around a tree, attach the UTV, and literally just lower that UTV down to the next level. Anyway, thanks for watching the videos. I had a big jump in subscribers. I appreciate everybody's support. Probably going to get some machining videos here soon. I don't have a whole lot to do with the RZR left for the season. I've got a little bit of electrical stuff that I'm going to finish up, and I'll do videos on that. But I'm hoping to get back to some machining stuff. Mainly I haven't been in machining because the shop is relatively expensive to heat, and we've just had so much bad weather. I'm still on a volunteer department here, and we've had a lot of calls. So basically, if I'm not working, generally I'll try to participate in that, and then keep doing my normal stuff. I just haven't gotten down to machining a whole lot of stuff except for customer work. But anyway, thanks a lot, and we'll see you on the next video.